Yudhisthira, along with his brothers, Draupadi, and their attendants, bowed to Dhritarashtra and left for Indraprastha. After the Pandavas had departed, Duryodhana gathered his allies, Dusasana, Karna, Sakuni, and Saindava, to discuss their next move. Furious, Duryodhana approached his father, Dhritarashtra, and said, "Father, all the success we carefully planned has been ruined by your foolish generosity or misplaced fear. Vidura, who always favors the Pandavas, has poisoned your mind and made you weak. The Pandavas were defeated, but you let them go. You think they will be grateful, but you're wrong. Even if Yudhisthira forgives Bhima, Arjuna, and the twins will surely seek revenge. They have already defeated kings all across the land, and defeating them in battle will be nearly impossible. Don't forget that Bhima publicly vowed to kill us. What will happen to me and Dusasana? Are you willing to let Bhima destroy us? We have a new plan. Let's invite Yudhisthira for another game of dice. This time, when he loses, the Pandavas will be exiled to the forest. If you don't agree to this, we are doomed." Dhritarashtra, persuaded by Duryodhana's fears, agreed to the plan and sent his messenger, Pratikami, to invite Yudhisthira to play another round of dice. When Pratikami arrived in Indraprastha and delivered the invitation, no one expected Yudhisthira to accept after the disaster of the first game. But, to everyone's surprise, he did. People speculated on why Yudhisthira would agree to such a risky offer. Some thought he felt a deep respect for Dhritarashtra and couldn't refuse an invitation from him. Bhima, though initially against gambling, supported this new game. He believed that if they won, it would redeem their earlier humiliation. If they lost, they could always regain their kingdom by force. Arjuna, too, stood by Yudhisthira, believing that as a Kshatriya, he couldn't refuse a challenge. Ultimately, Yudhisthira's respect for elders and his sense of duty led him to accept the invitation. So, Yudhisthira, his brothers, Kunti, Draupadi, Damawa, and their royal entourage journeyed to Hastinapura for the second game. The hall was prepared just as it had been before, but this time, the stakes were higher. As the game was about to begin, Sakuni, Duryodhana's crafty ally, proposed new terms. "It's not right to play with the same conditions as before," he said. "Let's create a new bet. The losing side must live in exile in the forest for 12 years, followed by 1 year in hiding. If discovered during that year, they must repeat the cycle of 12 years in exile and 1 year in disguise." Yudhisthira agreed, and the game resumed. Just like before, Yudhisthira lost, and the Pandavas were sentenced to exile. As part of this exile, they had to live as ascetics, practicing celibacy and austerity. They changed from their royal robes into the simple clothes of hermits and prepared to leave for the forest. The news of the Pandavas' exile spread rapidly, and the people of Hastinapura filled the streets to catch a glimpse of the departing brothers. Some climbed onto rooftops and towers to get a better view of the princes as they left for their long exile. The Pandavas bid farewell to Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, Drona, Vidura, and the others. Vidura, with a heavy heart, spoke to Yudhisthira, saying, "Your mother, Kunti, will stay with me. She is not fit to endure the hardships of forest life for such a long time. You are wise, and your bond with your brothers is unique. Bhima is a peerless warrior, Arjuna is an expert archer, Nakula knows economics, and Sahadeva embodies wisdom and propriety. Damawa, your priest, is full of spiritual insight. Draupadi is a worthy wife. You have been guided by Vyasa and protected by Narada. With your righteous conduct, you have surpassed sages in wisdom and gods in bravery. The wind, sun, moon, and other deities will guard you. But still, be careful. I hope to see you all again." The Pandavas then went to say goodbye to their mother, Kunti. When she saw them, their heads hung in shame, stripped of their royal attire and dressed in simple deerskins and robes of ascetics. Her sorrow was immense. "It breaks my heart to see my heroic sons fall victim to such a cruel trick," she said. "Madri was fortunate. I should have followed her example and ended my life long ago. Instead, I am left alive to witness this sorrow. How could this happen under the watch of Bhishma, Drona, and Kripa?" Draupadi, heartbroken, fell at Kunti's feet. Kunti embraced her and comforted her, saying, "You are fortunate in a way. You will serve your brave husbands even in the forest." She blessed Draupadi as the Pandavas, along with Draupadi and Damaha, set off on their journey to the forest from Hastinapura. The capital was in turmoil. The sight of the once royal princes, now walking on foot and wearing the rough clothes of ascetics, shocked the people. Many couldn't hold back their tears. The epic describes the departure in great detail. The sky grew dark, meteors rained down during the day, and wild jackals howled around the royal palace. There was a sudden solar eclipse, the earth trembled frequently, and a series of ominous signs filled the air. Disturbed by these bad omens, Dhritarashtra asked Vidura to describe the Pandavas' departure in full. Vidura replied, "It was a heartbreaking scene, beyond words. Everywhere people were cursing your sons for tricking the innocent Pandavas. They criticized you, Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, and the others. Public sympathy is clearly with the Pandavas." Duryodhana approached his teacher and respectfully said, "Great Acharya, I know you are deeply connected to King Dhritarashtra and the royal court of Hastinapura. I am also your student, and despite the differences I have with my cousins, the Pandavas, I hold you in the highest regard. I ask that you continue to honor the court of Hastinapura with your presence and support me, both morally and materially." Drona, pleased with Duryodhana's request, replied, "I have always been grateful to Bhishma and King Dhritarashtra for the respect they've shown me. Though I never knew King Pandu, the Kauravas and Pandavas are equal in my eyes. I will remain at the court of Hastinapura. But let me be clear, I care deeply for the Pandavas, and I care for you as well. I urge you to make peace with them. While I may not like Drupada, their ally, that's a different issue. The Pandavas are strong, with divine origins, and they are invincible. They will return after fulfilling their exile, filled with anger and seeking revenge. I know how the desire for vengeance grows over time. Before this wrath catches up with you in the 14th year, I advise you to correct your past mistakes and seek reconciliation with Yudhisthira. Depending on Sakuni and Karna is unwise. Bhishma may be on your side, and I may be on your side, but remember, justice is on their side, and so is God." Although Duryodhana was satisfied that Drona promised to support him, he dismissed the advice as unimportant and irrelevant.